Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officers, officials, listeners, learners. I welcome all respected doctors and directors, adorable ministers and managers, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrative advisors, all my dear friends, the most honorable President Modi ji, Dr. Rakesh from USA. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section today. We are appreciating our holy Indian cultural identities with the form of unity and diversity. What is happening around the world? Let us go through its changes politically, economically, socially, historically, spiritually, culturally, from all the aspects of life. We analyze, observe that all over the world, our India has the greatest feature because of its spiritual values, human values, social, economical, political, all values that were provided by our freedom fighters, free thinkers, spiritual starters, spiritual fathers, saints, those who born in India, came in India for addressing us unity, oneness, equality on the basis of caste, color, creed, and language, without any discrimination. If we accept God's order, Lord's order, then definitely we become the part of blessings of Lord, grace of Lord, all time, every time. It is said in all our holy scriptures that Lord or God is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, almighty. He never leaves us alone anywhere, anytime, anyhow. He is, He was, He will be past, present, and future. We feel His presence with His 100% present sense of mind. We learn unique skills, talents, manners, style of life. We have to adopt good habits, by the blessings of eternal living God. It is being addressed time and again by our all part and particles of our nation, our state. So let's go through what changes we see today and how we can be a good person after knowing all changes, zigzag path, being stops, CCTVs track Umar's last hours. He made multiple loops across Delhi before blast of says of Delhi, using footage from over 50 CCTV cameras. Delhi police has reconstructed Dr. Umar Nabi's last hours, right from leaving Faridabad Sunday night to driving an explosives laden car slowly towards metro station near Redford Monday evening, seconds before it go up. The hours before the cars explosion have been pieced together bit by bit, showing how he drives a white Hyundai I-20 from Haryana to Delhi through Delhi Mumbai Expressway. According to police sources, Umar's movements indicate meticulous planning and deliberate attempts to avoid detection. One source said he started on Delhi Mumbai Expressway Sunday and then got off the expressway, reaching Firozpur Jhirkha in Haryana's No district. He reportedly stopped at a roadside dhaba there and spent the night inside his car. He appeared to be in hiding but not in panic. He avoided major towns, preferring highways and small eaters. Sources said he seemed to have planned every step, including his entry and exit routes to avoid detection, the source added. On Monday morning, he was again seen on CCTV cameras along Delhi Mumbai Expressway, driving slowly towards Delhi. On Monday, Omar's car was seen leaving Faridabad near Asian Hospital around 7:30 am. He crossed Badalpur Toll Plaza around 8:13 am, marking his entry into Delhi. From there, he moved through southern parts of southeast Delhi, crossed Connaught Place before being spotted in East Delhi and later near central Delhi's Ring Road. Said the source, he made multiple loops across Delhi between 8 am and 3 pm. The reconstruction using CCTV footage shows that Umar deliberately avoided major arterial roads and instead took a zigzag path through crowded areas, possibly to confuse surveillance or to study crowd movements. He stopped at a eatery, roadside eatery in Delhi's Ashok Vihar around midday Monday. He appeared calm, ordered food, and stayed for a while before continuing his journey, said the source. At 3:15 p.m., Omar's car entered the parking area adjacent to Red Fort complex, where it remained stationary for around 3 hours. An officer said around 6:22 p.m. Omar's car was seen leaving the parking area and heading towards Redford Metro Station. Barely 30 minutes later, at 6:52 p.m., the vehicle exploded in a powerful explosion. Plot, plot was to hit six cities on December 6. One was on toll flights to 13. Not every resident of JNK. A terrorist CM says JNK CM Omar Abdullah on Thursday said those guilty of the Red Fort blast should be given the strictest punishment, but added that every resident of JNK is not a terrorist and not every Kashmiri is on the side of terrorists. Bihar will set for counting of votes today. Elaborate security arrangements have given made for Friday's counting of votes called in the Bihar Assembly election across 46 centers in 38 districts of the state. Officials said schools in Patna will remain closed on Friday. They said Bihar had registered a historic voter turnout of 67.13% in the election to the 243 member assembly in two phases on November 6 and 11. Nepal called not above military law. AFP mixes tension plea of soldiers' second wife. Say sanction not sought to certify marriage. From Chandigarh, after 20 years on run, Sim slip lands open CBI net from Mohali. After over 2 decades on the run, Kashmir Singh, a former Punjab police constable, accused in a 1991 fake encounter case, was finally arrested by CBI on Wednesday. Tensions, tension grips Chamba after attack on locality from Kullu. The deep fake dilemma. AI's threat to safety in a world where seeing is not longer believing. India is facing a new digital finance. AI generated deepfakes, these hyper realistic videos and audio clips don't just distort reality, they manipulate public perception, spread misinformation, and undermine trusted democracy itself. With 85.5% of Indian households owning at least one smartphone, mobile phone have become India's bank, classroom, and television, making citizens more vulnerable than ever to digital deception. During the 2024 elections, for instance, satirical deepfakes became a campaign tool of sorts. Apart from the ritualistic that leaders, it featured clips such as one that featured Prime Minister Modi dancing the Garba with women and Kumal Nath listing a popular welfare scheme. Though investigation and arrests followed such videos blur the line between fact and fiction, risking the distortion of voter opinion and the integrity of the democratic process. The threat extends beyond politics. Recently, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman highlighted the misuse of AI to clone voices and produce fake videos impersonating her. warning of potential financial scams and the erosion of public trust. I have seen several deep fake videos of myself being circulated online, manipulated to mislead citizens and distort facts. Sitaram Sitharaman stated at an event in Mumbai, criminals are using AI to mimic voices, clone identities, and create lifelike videos that can manipulate people, she added. Cybersecurity experts warn that AI is becoming a key tool in cyber crime. 80% of phishing campaigns in 2024 involved AI, with deepfake technology exploited for scams. Given that over 97% of India's urban youth is 15 to 29 on the smartphone, the impact of such misinformation on the nation is worrying, say observers. When you can fake, when you can fake images, audio and video, how do you know if a real video is real? Suddenly, everything is in question, said Hani Farid, professor at the University of California, Berkeley, in a POI interview and last year about the worrying rise in misuse of AI. Deepfakes began in 2016. Back then, it was a joke. But the technology has only gotten between earlier there were Photoshop face apps, now there are lip sync fakes. He said, warning that the tech has become more refined, raising the risk of harassment of women through the use of non-consensual sexual imagery. In November 2023, across Kashmika, Mandana became the victim of a viral deep fake video that superimposed her face onto compromising content, sparking widespread outrage. The term deepfake comes from a Reddit user who, in the early days of this technology, used it to create porn, said Farid, calling the new term generative AI clever rebranding by the male-dominated tech industry. As AI evolves, India must strengthen legal frameworks, enhance digital literacy, and bring together minds across sectors to ensure safety, says experts. We need to label everything as real or not real, said Farid. We need real disclosures, he added, to combat the deepening threat of deepfakes. DUI has already started armoring up. Watch out for our don't get scammed stories to stay informed and aware. After all, as Farid puts it, if you don't know what's real, how will you know what's false? Punjab government extends career progression scheme to doctors hired after July 2020 from Chandigarh after extending the benefits of modified assured career progression scheme to medical officers recruited before July 2020. Punjab government has initiated the process to extend the same benefit to doctors appointed after 2020. Punjab minister attends Captain Bilal from Batinda Tarantaran verdict today to set tone for Punjab 2027 election from Tarantaran. Security has been tightened in Punjab's border district of Tarantaran ahead of Faridabad's by-poll. Ahead of Friday's by-poll result for the eponymous assembly seat, a verdict that would set the tone for the 2027 assembly election in the state. The counting of votes will begin at 8 a.m. on November 14 at Mai Bhago International College of Nursing. PD under multi-layered security arrangements, the district administration claims to have completed all preparations with special attention to maintaining law and order in border areas. Adjoining Pakistan, where the border security force BSF has intensified patrolling and surveillance, the November 11 by polls are on intense and often contentious campaign among leading political forces of the 15 candidates in the fray. The main contenders include Harveer Singh Sandhu, Aam Aadmi Party, Ajit Singh Sandhu, Bharatiya Janata Party, Sukhwinder Kaur Randhawa, Shiromani Akali Dal, and Karanveer Singh Gurj, Indian National Congress, adding a dramatic twist to the race is Mandeep Singh contesting as an independent who has emerged as a strong challenger. Mandy is the brother of jailed activist Sandeep Singh. Happy Streets. The Children's Day Happy Streets returned with its largest ever edition, uniting 40 plus cities across India to celebrate the joy, energy, and imagination of every child. Picture streets filled not with traffic but with color, music, and cheer, where kids can run, dance, paint, cycle, and dream freely from fitness games and short morals to storytelling corners. Children's Day, one nation, one big playground from Chandigarh forever. A decade happy streets has brought families together across 220 plus locations nationwide, turning Sunday mornings into moments filled with fun, fitness, and laughter. 70 days, 10 kickoffs, Punjab Police on College for Gurus by Pradam events, PM praise may visit special DGP asked all wings of state for to pitch Punjab BJP to hold events. Punjab BJP leader Ashwini Sharma on Thursday said that recitation of Sukhmani Sahib will be organized across all 628 BJP mandals in Punjab on November 24 with participation from thousands of devotees. 500 drones to depict Guru's life. Punjab Chief Secretary K.P. Sinha on Thursday reviewed preparations for the Shahidi Shatabdi Samagam of Sri Guru K. Bahadur Sahib Ji at Shri Anandpur Sahib and directed administrative officers to complete all necessary arrangements for devotees' convenience. Sinha added that from November 23 to 29, a spectacular drone show featuring 500 drones would depict Guru Sahib's life, philosophy, and supreme sacrifice. The light and sound show would be held on November 20 at Chandganga Stadium, and the Bhog of the Akhand Path Sahib would take place on November 25 from Chandigarh. Anticipating heavy crowds and VIP visits, including those of PM Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu for events marking the 315th martyrdom year of Guru Tegh Bahadur in Anandpur Sahib, Punjab Police now directed all wings to resolve 9,952 personnel from Thursday to November 30 in total 17 days. Punjab Special Director General of Police, Law and Order, Arpit Shukla, in a communication has said the force should be kept in a state of reading, in a state of readiness, and should be moved immediately on short notice given by the office. The deployment orders of the above mentioned force will be issued separately. This force should be resolved by tomorrow morning, which is November 13th on. The ledger noted that maximum number of forces to be mobilized for smooth conduct of the event. Shukla has also requested that given given the extremely emergent law and order duty in the state till now, till November 30, a batch of 314 trainees of intelligence cadre, which is undergoing training at Recruitment Training Center, RTC, Punjab Armed Police, Jalandhar, and is going to pass out tentatively on November 20. We kept at the disposal of Punjab DGP as well as the Special DGP. After they pass out, all commissioners of police have been directed to reserve 100 personnel in their respective police lines and senior superintendents of police, except Malikotla and Kannam, have been asked to reserve 50 personnel in their respective police lines at the disposal of the DGP and Special DGP role from police line being equipped with care, shields and lathis under supervision of Inspector or SI officers and mobile number of officers being shared with this office. The Inspector General headquarters have been requested to withdraw the police personnel except security exercise, Bureau of Investigation, BUI and Vigilance Wing of the total 9,952. The Office of Human Resource Development has been asked to reserve as many as 4,052 police personnel. These include 1,508 to be reserved at Punjab Police Academy, below 1,500 planners or trainees at the Police Recruitment Training Center. Sacred Yatra begins. The Sacred Dharam Rakhin Yatra, dedicated to the 35th martyrdom day of Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib Ji, began on Thursday with a grand Nagar Kirtan at Gurudwara Guru Ke Mahal, Shri Anandpur Sahib. The procession started in the driving presence of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and with Panch Pyare in attendance. The journey has been organized by the Delhi Sikh Gurudwara Management Committee as part of extensive preparations marking the 35th year of Guru Tegh Bahadur Guruji's supreme sacrifice. A large number of devotees, including representatives from various Sikh organizations and our seva groups, took part in the Nagar Kirtan. Sarpanch now need pride not to travel abroad. According to an official, the decision was taken to rule out delays in development works and the issuing of essential documents from Chandigarh Punjab government has mandated new standard operating procedure. dividing Sarpanches and Panches to 8, where approval of all internal travel as part of which ex-Indian leave must be sanctioned by block development and panchayat officers. Applications will have to be submitted 1 month in advance under normal circumstances. During a Sarpanch's travel, a bench will temporarily officiate the position as per the Punjab Panchayat Act 1994. There are 13,238 Sarpanches and 83,437 Panchayat members in the state. According to an official, the decision was taken to rule out delays in development works and the issuing of essential documents like caste and income certificates due to the prolonged absence of elected representatives traveling abroad often during winter. The decision has evoked mixed reaction from sarpanches. Industry wants quality control norms to stay used from New Delhi over the last 12 months have failed India, the local arm of the German furniture fittings and architectural hardware firm has doubled the share of domestically sourced products to 30%. Crippling delays, high compliance costs hurting MSMEs, associated from New Delhi. Critical barriers including regulatory delays, high compliance costs, and the lack of effective single window system are holding back micro, small, and medium enterprises from realizing their potential. Industry body association said on Thursday. Shared stallers rally beaters. Shared stallers rally beaters out before Bihar poll results. Equities ended flat on Thursday as gains in metal stocks and upbeat earnings were offset by caution ahead of Bihar's election results, seen as key for policy continuity. The Nifty 50 is 0.01% high to 25,000 lakh 879.15 and the BSE Sensex added 0.101% to 84,478.67. Semicon startups see near six-fold rise in in early stage funding report from Bengaluru. Design firm Figma taps India's creator economy San Francisco based for sets of Bengaluru's office. Abhishek Mathur, VP of Engineering, Figma says India is a huge market for us. 35 million Figma files were created here. There are design files that often have many creators collaborating. We are also seeing the earliest and fastest adoption of new products here. For instance, Figma makes over 500,000 creations in India, the highest anywhere. And India's creator economy continues to expand rapidly. Design platform Figma has entered the Indian market with a new office in Bengaluru, giving a major boost to creators working at the intersection of design and technology. India is Figma's second largest active user market after the US. India is a huge market for us. 35 million Figma files were created here. These are design files that often have many creators collaborating. We are also seeing the earliest and fastest adoption of new products here. For instance, Figma makes over 500,000 creations in India, the highest anywhere, shared Abhishek Mathur, VP of Engineering at Figma. Its rival Canva has also underscored India's growing importance noting that the country is now its fourth largest global market. Mathur shared the platform is currently hiring for sales, marketing, and design advocacy roles will evaluate adding product design or engineering roles over time. India has tremendous tech talent. AI design has now become a core boardroom and C-suite priority. As AI makes basic outputs more generic, design is emerging as a strategic differentiator. Senior design roles such as leading, such as chief design officers are gaining prominence and was increasingly recognized design as a key level of business outcome. A recent UCOV Figma survey found that 80 to 88% of product design and engineering leaders, as well as C-suite executives, reported measurable business impact from design. Figma also has a thriving community presence in India, with its friends of Figma network comprising 25 chapters and over 25,000 members. They host organic meetups, share design practices, and elevate the craft. It's inspiring to see community-led growth, Mathur said. He added that over 40% of the top BSE 100 companies are Figma customers. Figma recently added Korean language support and is expanding to include Japanese, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. While we don't yet support Indian languages natively, Figma already enables designers to localize skills instantly using built-in translation tools. Mathur shared on Figro. Mathur said on Figma's tiered pricing model for Indian creators. Mathur said the company serves the entire spectrum of users, free education access, starter tires for hobbyists, pro and all tires for teams and enterprises. Our education program is free and robust, and even starter tires include AI credits. We aim to democratize access rather than dilute capability. About 33% of our users are developers. Mathur added, we are truly a platform that brings imagination to reality. Bridging design and code AI is blurring traditional boundaries between project managers, designers, and engineers. Everyone can now be a maker. A product manager can create a prototype directly in Figma without needing an engineer. Our goal is to enable everyone to be a maker. People already have the ideas. They just need the right tools. Figma's proposed $20 billion acquisition by Adobe was called out following regulatory scrutiny and competition concerns in 2023. MFI need to keep interest rates reasonable. DFS Secretary says urges them to achieve productivity and cost efficiency from the Financial Service Secretary M. Nagaruzu on Thursday asked microfinance institutions to keep their interest rates reasonable to foster financial inclusion. I come across very uncomfortable rates of interest by some MFIs. It is actually because of insufficiencies in an MFI. Nagarju said while addressing an event organized by Asidhan and FDI appointed SRO for MFIs. Semicon startups near six-fold rise in early stage funding, report says from Bangalore. Shares stalled as rally peters out before Bihar poll results. Sinner sealed the semi-final spot with win over Zidane. From Turin, Arjun Harikrishna Progress Prague was out of World Cup from Ranji. Opener at Cardiff semi-finals and final at Wembley from London. Profound archers picked 5 medals from बाहर की मैन बहादुरी. New Zealand single T21 series. As a captain, happy to saw a newfound appreciation at home. All format star will ready to address mental strain from Kolkata. Pakistan to shift T20 try series to Rawalpindi. Watson joins KKR coaching support from Kolkata. Kolkata Knight Riders continued their own restoration work after a poor 8th place finish in the last IPL. Challengers fancied over champs SA might be worthy WTC winners, but India at home present the biggest test for them. From Kolkata, it is not often that a champion team starts off in a game as underdogs when world test champions. South Africa take on India in the first test of the two-match series at the Eden Garden here on Friday. They will surely not be the favorites. That's attack reserved for India when they are playing at home, even if on the wicket that might provide more help to seamers than anywhere else in the country. It is a typical Indian wicket. India's skipper Shubham Gill said on Thursday, after checking the all-important rectangle for the mini time over 3 days. Today looked a bit different from how it was yesterday. He added, now that's interesting. These variations might just make the team combination pendulum oscillate between spin and pace. It tends to swing in the morning and evening in Kolkata. Vincent statistics say Pacers picked 75% of wickets in the last 4 tests. So Kuldeep or Akashdeep. While his love for stray dogs has caused stress led to erectile dysfunction, Mantel's High Court seeks divorce from Ahmedabad. A 41-year-old man has approached Gujarat High Court seeking a divorce from his wife on grounds of cruelty, alleging she brought stray dogs into their home and arranged a prank call about an imagined extramarital affair, causing him public humiliation. According to the man's appeal, the couple married in 2006, and his troubles began when his wife introduced a stray dog into their flat in a society that prohibited dogs as pets. She then brought in additional strays, made him cook, clean, and care for them. He said one dog bit him when it insists when it insisted on sleeping in their bed. The husband said the presence of the dogs turned neighbors against them, leading to a police complaint in 2008. He alleged that after his wife joined an animal rights group, she repeatedly filed police complaints against others, summoned him to stations to assist her, and on his refusal, abused and humiliated him. He claimed the stress destroyed his wife, destroyed his well-being, and led to erectile dysfunction. He also alleged that on April 1, 2007, his wife arranged for a radio jockey to make a prank call about his supposed affair. which embraced him at work and in society. The man said he fled to Bengaluru, but his wife continued to harass him. He filed a divorce suit in 2017 in an Ahmedabad family court, but she defended it by arguing that he had deserted her and introduced her to animal activism. She produced photographs of him embarrassing and kissing the dog. In fact, 2024, the family court dismissed his petition, stating, considering the evidence, the petitioner had failed to prove that the respondent treated him with cruelty or has deserted him. Regarding the prank call it had, this cannot be the grounds for seeking divorce. The husband appearing asserting the marriage was irretrievable, broken and offering to pay rupees 50 lakh in alimony, while his wife insisted on rupees 2 crore. Her counsel replied that the husband's family runs a resort abroad and he should pay a reasonable amount. The High Court bench comprises Justice Sangeeta Vishen and Justice Nisha Thakur posted further hearing for December led directed the advocates appealing for the respective parties to take respective instructions. Activist shows proof path new of illegal Pune land deal. Wants his name to be included in FIR from Mumbai calling for the resignation of Deputy Chief Minister Rajiv Pawar over irregularities in the Pune land deal which involving a company linked to his son Parth. Anti-election activist Anjali Dhamina on Wednesday alleged there were major holes in the transaction. The land ownership was never transferred from government to the Watagar family and the power of attorney used for the sale was unregistered and did not empower the POA holder to sell the 40-acre plot she alleged. Diabetes isn't just about sugar, it's about your eyes too. While India's diabetes conversation revolves around sugar levels, a far greater threat often slips by unnoticed. Irreversible damage to the eyes, early and regular eye screening is the first step towards addressing this concern. Diabetes isn't just about sugar, it's about your eyes too. While India's diabetes conversation revolves around sugar levels, a far greater threat often slips by unnoticed, irreversible damage to the eyes. Early and regular eye screening is the first step towards addressing this concern. India is witnessing a rapid rise in diabetes, with more than 100 million people currently living with the condition. Yet, even as individuals focus on monitoring and controlling their sugar level, one crucial aspect of diabetes care is often overlooked: eye health. Diabetic retinopathy, a complication caused by damage to the retina's blood vessels, is one of the leading causes of preventable blindness in adults. What makes it especially concerning is how quietly it develops. Most people don't notice symptoms until the damage is advanced. And once vision is lost, it is often irreversible. That's why regular screening and early detection are so important. With the need for greater awareness becoming increasingly urgent, Sun Pharma has launched See Beyond Sugar, a nationwide initiative that encourages diabetics to talk to their doctor about diabetic retinopathy and undergo the recommended annual eye screening needed to support it in its early stages. Reflecting on the campaign, Kirti Janukar, Managing Director, Sun Pharma, said diabetic retinopathy is one of the serious complications faced by people living with diabetes, yet awareness about this condition remains alarmingly low. As a leader in diabetes care, we believe it is our responsibility to raise awareness about this disease. Ben says Punjabi Olympiad is celebration of our identity. From Chandigarh, the third, the third international Punjabi language Olympiad, organized by the Punjab School Education Board, witnessed a surge in participation with student registrations crossing the 2,25,916 mark, said Punjab Education Minister Harjot Singh Bains. Hera Slams asked government after Hera Slams asked government after FP account blocked from Chandigarh. Two of gang held with foreign head pistols from Odisha. Man held after encounter accused of firing at shot from Amritsar. Day after police chief Rear Sex General Star Punjab DGP issues VIP SOPs. Strength lies in protecting everyone, DGP says from Chandigarh. Beyond protection, the police, being a professional force, has a zero tolerance policy towards misconduct, as its duty is not just to protect threatened person but also to uphold public dignity, safety, and confidence on the roads. VIP protection is a high responsibility assignment demanding discipline, patience, and respect for citizens. Strong security apparatus and respectful conduct must go hand in hand. Message from our President Mr. Modi ji. If patriotism and love for Mother India or feelings beyond words, then Vande Mataram is a song that gives a complete expression to those feelings, a spiritual and patriotic ode to Mother India. Vande Mataram, commemoration of 150 years of national song. Be a part of this momentous occasion and upload your rendition of Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram 150.8 Valedictory function phase 1 Friday 14th November 2025 MS Stadium Jammu Department of Information and Public Relations Jammu and Kashmir. चिट्टा मुक्त हिमाचल एक नया हिमाचल चिट्टा विरुद्ध जागरूकता अभियान वर्कफ्रॉम 15/11/2025 and 10 p.m. दरिच शिमला नशा मुक्त हिमाचल की दिशा में प्रदेश सरकार के अभिनव प्रयास मध्य प्रदेश संगीत अपराध निवारण नियंत्रण विधेयक 2025 पारित कर नशा तस्करों को मृत्युदंड आजीवन कारावास और 10 लाख रुपए जुर्माने के अतिरिक्त अवैध तरीके से अर्जित संपत्ति की कुर्की किए जाने का प्रावधान मध्य प्रदेश ड्रग्स और नियंत्रित पदार्थ रोकथाम नशा मुक्ति पुनर्वास विधेयक 2025 पारित कर अवैध व्यापार में शामिल तस्करों को कड़ी सजा और जुर्माने के प्रावधान सहित नशा मुक्ति पुनर्वास निवारक शिक्षा एवं आजीविका सहायता के लिए एक राज्य कोष की स्थापना का प्रावधान भी किया गया है। कुल्लू, उन्नाव, हमीरपुर और कांगड़ा जिलों में पुरुषों के लिए 4 तथा रेड क्रॉस सोसाइटी कुल्लू द्वारा महिलाओं के लिए एक नशा निवारण एवं पुनर्वास केंद्र संचालित प्रदेश के सभी जिलों में जिला नशा निवारण केंद्र स्थापित किए जा रहे हैं। सिरमौर जिला के कोटला बड़ौद में 100 बिस्तर वाला सर्व सुविधा संपन्न उत्कृष्ट नशा मुक्ति केंद्र स्थापित किया जा रहा है। नशे के विरुद्ध अभियान में हिमाचल सरकार की कड़ी कार्रवाई एनपीपीसी एक्ट गत 3 वर्षों में 1140 मामले पकड़े 1803 लोग गिरफ्तार पीआईटी एनपीपीसी एक्ट के तहत 130 प्रस्ताव भेजे गिरफ्तारी के 4 आदेश जारी अतिक्रमण 70 मामले खोजे 7 में संपत्ति गिराने और खाली करवाने की कार्रवाई बड़ी कार्रवाई 919 किलो चरस 33.9 किलो हेरोइन 1632 किलो कोकीहस 89.6 किलो फीम 1,64,496 कैप्सूल और टेबलेट्स बरामद भांग के 29.76 लाख पौधे नष्ट किए नशा तस्करों की संपत्तियों की कुल वर्ष 2023 में 4.87 करोड़ वर्ष 2024 में 24.42 करोड़ वर्ष 2025 में 6.66 करोड़ 7.74 करोड़ रुपए की संपत्तियों की कुर्की के मामले पुष्टि के लिए भेजे नशा तस्करों की 1214 संपत्तियों से नियत नशीली दवाओं के अवैध बिक्री में संलिप्त कंपनियों के लाइसेंस होंगे रद्द। आइए हम सब मिलकर मध्य प्रदेश को चिट्टा मुक्त बनाएं और एक नए हिमाचल का निर्माण करें। सुखविंदर सिंह सुक्खू माननीय मुख्यमंत्री हिमाचल प्रदेश Lord Mark Neil's first US Liver million metric shipment to the USA 5-year-old dies after falling into well in UP. PM Lord's reduction in TB cases from New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi Thursday lauded the reduction in the incidence of tuberculosis in India since 2015, which was twice the global rate of decline, and credited it to the expansion of treatment coverage. India's TB incidence with reference to new cases emerging each year reduced by 21% from 237% from 237 per lakh population in 2015 to 187 per lakh population in 2024 according to the World Health Organization's Global TB Report 2025. The reduction is almost double the pace of the decline observed globally at 12%. The health minister shared India's fight against TB is achieving remarkable momentum. The latest WHO global tuberculosis report 2025 highlights that India has recorded a commendable reduction in TB incidents since 2015, and it is nearly twice the global rate of decline. Modi said in a post on X, the Prime Minister said the decline in incidents of TB in India was one of the sharpest drops seen anywhere in the world. No pension has not legally recognized as cause AFT said. India and Canada discuss ways to boost bilateral trade and investment from Delhi. India and Canada on Thursday had discussions on ways to promote bilateral trade and investments besides advancing collaboration in areas including supply chain vigilance and health sectors. The issues were discussed during the India-Canada Ministerial Dialogue on Trade and Investment meeting, which was co-chaired by Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Canada's Minister of Export Promotion, International Trade and Economic Development, Maninder Sukhu. The ministers reaffirmed their commitment to fostering an open, transparent and predictable business environment that supports sustainable growth, the Commerce Ministry said. Counting of Bihar votes today. Parties hold active discussions. Nepal-like situation will arise on streets if counting is halted. RJD Neta says from Patna. Leaders across the political spectrum of Bihar on Thursday held hectic parleys and reviewed last-minute preparation as the state was readying for the counting of votes called in the recently held high-stakes assembly polls that will decide whether Nitish Kumar, the longest-serving chief minister, will get a record fifth term. RJD leader and India Bloc's CM candidate Tejasvi Yadav said his party workers and the common people were ready to handle any unconstitutional activity during counting, while a lesser-known RJD leader Sunil Kumar Singh threatened that a Nepal-like situation would be witnessed on the street if counting is halted like in 2020. In Hisar, man gets 5 years in jail for abetment to suicide from Hisar. Unions join power staffs against privatization from Patiala. Government submits memo to Haryana government over farmer issues, rising crime from Chandigarh. Haryana joins digital campaign from Chandigarh. The Haryana government has announced its participation in the nationwide digital life certificate campaign being conducted across the country by the Government of India from November 130. The campaign will be implemented throughout Haryana to ensure ease and convenience for pensioners in submitting their digital life certificates. Haryana announces reforms in paperless registration system. Document upload limit enhanced. The document upload limit has been enhanced from 10 MB to 50 MB to accommodate more complex transactions for government. Conveyance leaves only the department name will be required, with no need to provide PAN or Aadhaar details. Mandatory Khasra or Kila entries have been removed for Haryana Shehri Vikas Pradhikaran, Haryana State Industrial and Infrastructure Development Corporation, Haryana State Agriculture Marketing Board, and Housing Board with properties. The system now captures attendance automatically in general power of attorney cases and supports multiple parties in a single transaction from Chandigarh. Haryana Financial Commissioner, Revenue and Disaster Management, Dr. Sumit Misra, on Thursday chaired a detailed video conference with all deputy commissioners to review the progress and field level functioning of the state's paperless registration system. Dr. Mishra announced a series of major reforms aimed at enhancing efficiency and citizen convenience. He stated that the existing 5-day rework time on application would soon be shortened to study approvals and ensuring faster service delivery. To safeguard the data from accidental loss, all failed documents will now be automatically saved for 72 hours before deletion. While registration fees will remain applicable throughout the process until completion, reviewing the performance data between November 1 and November 12, Dr. Mishra shared that a total of 5,334 applications were received across the state, out of which 2,110 trees were approved, 915 applications under submission, 611 were approved by sub-registrars and 626 were rejected due to documentation or technical errors. Additionally, 308 payments were processed online. 387 registrations were cancelled by citizens and 377 cases fell under miscellaneous categories when compared with the previous review period from September 29 to October 31, 2025, during which only 1,662 applications and 1,057 approvals were recorded. Both applications and approvals more than doubled, indicating a rapid adoption to the digital platform among the districts. Kurukshetra led with 810 applications and 574 approvals, followed by Mahendragarh with 428 applications and 204 approvals, Karnal with 409 applications and 208 approvals, Jin with 384 applications and 131 approvals. Man gets life term for 2020 murder from Hisar, Fatehpur district court on Thursday. Sentenced Pyarelal, a resident of Saman village near here, to life imprisonment in connection with a 5.5-year-old murder case. Punjab releases 332 crore rupees for rural works from Chandigarh. Chima rejects Bitu's speaking on Union Minister of State for Railways, Ravneet Bitu's allegations about the Punjab government utilization of central funds. Chima said Bitu's remarks reflected his lack of information and understanding about the SNS system. Punjab's 1 crore rupees for 280 people hit by floods from Sandur. APCB cites floods for delay in checking consent condition of stone crushers. APCB stated before the entity that there are 172 stone crushers operating in proper district with valid consent to operate. Com stages what Chori studied in Ambala from Ambala. Illegal detention case court directs SP who says CCTV footage from Isar. No places of worship on public land. Nawan Shahar DC. GT Roads. Shambhu barrier of limits again this time for day March today. Punjab courts issued traffic advisory from Patiala. Punjab police on Thursday issued a traffic advisory of the Rajpura Bala Delhi highway being closed to traffic at the Shambhu border between Punjab and Haryana from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday. Haryana SKM the strategy is on November 26. From Jane, Punjab records 72 farm fire, 91 FIRs filed from Bhatinda. 10 years in jail for minor cause, minor cousins raped from Hisar. One scholarship, 26 years, 795 plus scholars. Efforts for global impact from corporate visionaries to unicorn founders, from academia to governance. Today, 45 more step up to lead tomorrow. Presenting the 26th Aditya Birla Scholarships Program. The Aditya Birla Scholarships Program stands as a tribute to the enduring legacy of our visionary leader, Dr. Aditya Vikram Birla, a pioneer whose ideas remain timeless. Instituted in 1999, the program has nurtured close to 800 scholars from India's premier institutions across management, law and engineering, many of whom today are unicorn founders, innovators, and change makers, shaping India's progress in its 26th year. From 400 shortlisted applications across top management, engineering, and national law schools, 100 were shortlisted and 45 outstanding individuals, with women comprising 53% of the cohort, were chosen by an eminent jury. Canada opens door wide for foreign grade students despite campaign intake in a significant shift that recalibrates its international education strategy. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada (IRCC) has announced new measures to fast track and prioritize the application of master's and doctoral foreign students enrolling in Canada. These students will also not be converted. These students will also not be covered by the overall cap on foreign students intake. The immigration plan level for 2026-2028 announced recently have the admission targets, with admissions capped at 1.55 lakh in 2026 and 1.50 lakh in 2027. Following this announcement, IRCC announced relaxation for postgraduate international students from January 1, 2026. International students admitted to master's or doctoral programs at Canadian public designated learning institutions will be exempt from the national enrollment cap and will no longer need to secure a provincial or territorial attestation letter. International students at private DLIs, however, will remain subject to the cap and attestation requirements. Further, doctoral students applying from abroad will be eligible for an expanded online study permit process with a target turnaround time of just 14 days. The policy also extends important benefits to students' families, dependent spouses, and children applying alongside the student will be eligible to accompany them. With spouses qualifying for open work permit application and dependents for study or visitor visa. Essentially, Canada is signaling that while the overall volume of international students will be trimmed, it seeks to attract advanced degrees candidates, those who can feed into research, innovation, and skilled talented pipelines. 15 Canada and Association of 15 leading Canadian research universities welcomed this move. The decision to exempt graduate students from permit camps is an important step towards rebuilding Canada's immigration system in a sustainable manner, works on attracting top talent and leveraging our reputation as a global destination for excellence, said Robert Aslan, CEO of Under 15 Canada. IBM says loan chip shows path to quantum computers by 2029. San Francisco IBM announced on Wednesday it has built a new experimental quantum computing chip called Noor that demonstrates it hit a key milestone towards making useful quantum computers before the end of the decade. Quantum computers would someday solve problems that would take classical computers thousands of years, but due to the uncertain nature of quantum mechanics, the chips are error prone. Turkey suspends C-130 flights after fatal plane crash from Istanbul. Bank of India organizes branch managers conference. Bank of India organized a branch managers conference in Ludhiana on Thursday to review the business performance of its branches. Unclaimed assets quick settlement camp to be held today as part of the UN capital, where security campaign initiated by the Ministry of Finance, Government of India. The district level of education and awareness camp is being organized to facilitate the quick settlement of unclaimed assets in the financial sector. RCF Kapurthala conducts a special campaign 5.0. BBMD organizes blood donation camp. Vande Mataram symbolizes India's national spirit. Says CM Sani, Haryana CM Naib Singh Sani, and Vande Mataram said Vande Mataram is not just a song, but the heartbeat, identity, and soul of India. He was addressing the gathering at the state level celebration of the 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram organized in Ambala last week. He said that the song symbolizes India's national spirit, nationalism, and unity. Over the past decade, Prime Minister Modi has redefined Vande Mataram as more than a cultural memory or a symbolic chant. He has placed it at the heart of modern nation building, inspiring a new generation to embrace nationalism with confidence, dignity, and purpose. As we mark 150 years of Vande Mataram, it is evident that the spirit of this song continues to animate the philosophy, confidence, and policy direction of a new India. Said CM Sani, he said the song became a clarion call of courage and self-respect. It shook the British Empire and awakened the spirit of revolution among the youth. Trump wants foreign workers to train Americans and lead says from York or Washington. The way after US President Donald Trump defended the H-1B visas program. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the vision is to bring in skilled overseas workers who train Americans and then go back home. The President's vision here is to bring to overseas workers where these jobs will who have the skills 3, 5, 7 years to train the US workers, then they can go home. The US workers fully take over. Patient said on an interview to Fox News on Wednesday. Patient was asked about Trump's latest remarks on the H-1B visa programs, where the president said America has to bring in talent since it does not have certain talents. Patient said that for 20 to 30 years the US had offshored precision manufacturing jobs, and the president's point here is again we can't snap our fingers and say we are going to learn how to build ships overnight. We want to bring the semiconductor industry back to the US. So this idea of overseas partners coming in, teaching American workers, then returning home, that's home turn. Nations are adding that Americans can't have those jobs now because we haven't built ships in the US for years. We haven't built semiconductor. Trump defended H-1B visas program, saying America has to bring in talent from around the world. I agree, but you also do have to bring in talent. Trump had shared in an interview to Laura Ingraham on Fox News. Trump was responding to a question on whether the H-1B visa issue will not be a big priority for his administration. And if one wants to raise wages for American workers, the country cannot be flooded with hundreds of thousands of foreign workers. Bangladeshi tribunal to deliver verdict against Hasina on November 17. Turkey suspends C-130 flights after fatal plane crash from Istanbul. IBM says drone chip shots pass to quantum computers by 2029. Walking towards drug-free Haryana. State bets on awareness and empathy from Shimla. Madhya Pradesh High Court sees center to stand on inadequate flight of opposites and airports. From Shimla, the Madhya Pradesh High Court has sought a clear stance from the Union Ministry of Civil Aviation on insufficient flight operations from the state's three airports, noting that the central government had not made adequate arrangements to ensure regular air connectivity to the hill state. A dual bench comprising Chief Justice Gurmeet Singh Sardwalia and Justice G. Lal Bhardwaj expanded the scope of the public interest litigation originally filed highlighting bird managed at Ghaggar Airport in Kangra district. BJP MLA joins Pro in Poxo case after entering bail from Kulu. Every J&K resident not a terrorist, says CM Umar. Punish guilty, innocent shouldn't be harassed. From Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has called for the strictest punishment for those behind the daily laws that warrant against branding the entire population of Jammu and Kashmir as sympathizers of terrorism. If you are responsible for this attack, those who are guilty should be given the strictest punishment and innocent people should not get caught in it or shared, adding every resident of Jammu and Kashmir is not terrorist and not every Kashmiri is on the side of terrorists. The CM made the statement while talking to media persons on the sidelines of the 19th special convocation of the University of Jammu held at the General Jorawasi Auditorium on Thursday. Replying to questions about the arrest of Arif Ishardar, a doctor from Srinagar SMHS hospital who was saved in 2023 by the Lieutenant Governor who released terror links. Abdullah asked why no legal action was taken earlier despite the availability of evidence. Haven't we seen university professor involved before? What is new about this? He asked and added. Where is it written that educated people cannot get involved in such things, terror acts? If you believe one terror links that you have evidence, why didn't you take that evidence to court and brought the person prosecuted? Merely dismissing someone from service doesn't end the matter. And today we are seeing the result of that, he said. Earlier the CM congratulated the graduating students, medal winners and PhD awardees, describing the convocation as a moment of pride, celebration and reflection for the institution and everyone association with it. In his address, Abdullah also highlighted Mission Yuva, his government tracks initiative designed to harness creativity, potential, and energy of the youth of JNK. Together, these efforts ensure that our young citizens are not only educated but empowered to contribute meaningfully to a progressive, inclusive, and self-reliant JNK, he asserted, calling education the heart of transformation. The CM said JNK stands at the threshold of a new era of opportunity where universities play a pivotal role in shaping innovative entrepreneurs and responsible citizens. Society must stand against terror sympathizers. From Jammu and Kashmir, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha on Thursday said security forces are determined to dismantle the terror ecosystem, but society must also join the fight by standing against terror sympathizers. Terrorism poses a fundamental threat to peace and progress, and the people of Jammu and Kashmir have borne its burden for more than 3 decades. The Lieutenant General said at a special convocation ceremony at the University of Jammu, his remarks come the backdrop of the November 10 blast near Delhi's that which claimed 13 lives and left 7 dead. MBBS student from Jammu dies by suicide in Mohali. Mohali, one prototype house of drug peddler attached in Jammu and Kashmir, Puch from Jammu. Forces now search of in 6 border areas of Puch from Mahendra or Jammu. Chamba attacks due to world rivalry of says. One 1991 fake encounter case of declared PO in 2005. POIFA 2025 bridges big screen and OTT spotlight moment reshaping cinema. US sanctions individuals CEOs over links to Iran missile probe. 32 entries and individuals including from India face action. The United States on Wednesday announced sanctions against 32 entities and individuals from several countries, including India and China, for links to Iran's ballistic missile program. The US State Department said the action is in line with President Donald Trump's efforts to counter Iran's aggressive development of missiles and other asymmetric and conventional weapons. The US is today sanctioning 32 entities and individuals based in Iran, China, Hong Kong, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, India, and other jurisdictions that operate multiple procurement networks supporting Iran's ballistic missile and unmanned aerial vehicle production. It shared the action supports the re-imposition of UN sanctions and restrictive measures on Iran in response to the country's significant non-performance of its nuclear, company, nuclear commitments. U.S. Under Secretary of the Treasury, Terrorism and Financial Intelligence John Clay said Iran exploits financial system across the globe to launder funds, procure components for its nuclear and conventional weapon programs. At the direction of President Trump, we are putting maximum pressure on Iran to end its nuclear threat, he said. The United States also expects the international community to fully implement UN snapback sanctions on Iran to cut off its access to the global financial system, he added. The Treasury Department linked India with Farm Lane Private Limited. POIFA 2025 bridges big screen and OTT spotlight moment reshaping cinema. Man arrested in connection with piracy of Zubeen Girl's last film from Guwahati. Karnataka High Court allows RSS route march in Chitrakoot from Bengaluru. The Karnataka High Court on Thursday disposed of a petition filed by the convener of RSS in Kalaburgi seeking permission to hold a route march in Chitrakoot town. The court permitted the march on November 16 with 300 participants and 50 member band. Justice M.G.S. Kamal recorded that the Tehsildar of Chitrapur had already granted permission for the event scheduled on November 16, subject to specific conditions. Last week, the state had informed the court that it would positively consider the petitioner's proposal for the march. Two men get 20 years RIM for raping teenager. High Court disqualifies Mukul Roy from assembly. Mukul Roy was disqualified under the anti-defection law for switching over to the ruling PFC after having been elected on BJP ticket in 2021 elections. The High Court also set aside Roy's nomination as chairman of the PAC. PAC says 5 crore enumeration forms given to electors in one day. 42 crore forms distributed in 12 states and UTs so far. After the SIR in Bihar, the EC has included the Aadhaar card in the list of indicative documents people will have to submit in 12 states and UTs. The same terror probe expands sales force, find toxin, making tools in dogs, Hyderabad fled. Accused had reset religious places, including RSS offices in Ahmedabad, Delhi, Lucknow from Ahmedabad. What's in a name? Indian, Hind or Hindi? Johran Mamdani, the first person of Indian origin to be elected as mayor of New York. In his victory speech, quoting Jawaharlal Nehru's famous Rise with Destiny speech, categorically expressed his commitment to reject the Western paradigm of power politics and promote transformative and positive social action. A typically Indian notion, according to Jawaharlal Nehru, the correct term to refer to everything commonly termed as Indian is the word Hind or Hindi, which is shortened for which is shortened form of Hindustani. We have held that in the countries of Western Asia, in Iran and Turkey, in Iraq, Afghanistan, Egypt and elsewhere, India has always been referred to and is still called Hind. And everything Indian is called Hindi. In US and Europe, the relatively recent term Indian is used to refer to our country, its culture or the historical continuity of our very tradition. The advantage of using the terms Hind or Hindi, Nehru argued, was that this usage was a religious. That is, it had nothing to do with religion. A Muslim or a Christian can be as much a Hind or Hindi as person who follow Hinduism. However, he was fully aware that the word Hindi had become associated in India with a particular script, the Devanagari script of Sanskrit, and so it has become difficult to use it in its larger and more natural significance. We hope that when present day controversies subside, we may revert to its original and more satisfying in use. Nehru realized that modern science does not help in moments of existential crisis when we are faced with real life dilemma. When we are tortured by the conflict of duty, is because science explains phenomena in the material world and tells us nothing about the purpose and meaning of life. A study of the humanities in general and philosophy in particular enlightens us about the crisis we face in our political, social, religious, and economic sphere, especially in our spiritual lives. Nehru regarded Hind or Hindi thinking as much superior to philosophies that originated in other parts of the world. So Nehru was very curious to find out the nation and spoke on Hind or Hindi culture, religion, philosophy, metaphysics, mysticism, and spirituality. In his discovery of India, Nehru categorically wrote, if I were asked under what sky the human mind has most fully developed some of its choicest gifts has most deeply pondered over the greatest problems of life and has found solutions of some of them which well deserve the attention even of those who have studied Plato and Kant. I should point to India. He upheld that Indian philosophy is living philosophy and that it answers the problems of today. Nehru was deeply influenced by writings of Bertrand Russell, Lenin, and also G.M. Carlian's Garibaldi books. He was also impressed by the apparent material achievements of Western nations, especially Soviet Union and Europe, thus convinced that developed a rationalist, materialist, and humanist mindset. Nehru's nationalistic thinking outrightly rejected evolution as the source of religion. This thinking, in combination with his observation of religious practices, led him to conclude that religion inevitably results in superstition, belief in the supernatural, bigotry, exploitation, and preservation of vested interest, prejudice, and dogmatic beliefs. Nehru argued that people who are slaves to dogma and dogmatic mentality cannot progress. Nehru ardently believed in promoting scientific temper, modern education, and industrialization. Forgotten friends, absence of memory regarding old companies make for many delightful reunions. Motorcycle diary US lawmakers rides by 1,532 kilometers to work on ending shutdown would that have legislator short such drive. There is no one in the biology. Nearly 36% of road fatalities happen on the national highway network. That's nearly 2% of India's total road network. A separate agency to prove these accidents is necessary as in mining and railways. Maha neglect. Worrying levels of child malnutrition in Maharashtra has I got worried. What about government? Bombay High Court has upgraded. Bombay High Court has upgraded state government for taking public health in this case, child malnutrition extremely casually. High Court was responding to public interest. Litigation highlighting the large number of children dying from malnutrition, 65 infants had in last 6 months. To begin with, fact that PIL must be held in India's financial capital to simply get government to pay attention to a public health crisis shows something is well broken. But will High Court stress their bother government? High Court has repeatedly responded to PIL on the issue of malnutrition in the state since 2006. State even asking for a detailed report on the dire situation in 2023. Note that Maharashtra government doesn't know 40% of its children aged 0 to 5 are stunted, worse than Rajasthan 36%, closer to Bihar's 42%, as shared in Rajya Sabha answer. Parents network effect. Overground workers are the connective tissues between ideology and violence. Tackling them requires proactive de-radicalization and addressing grievances in a must draw on global lessons. For fairly long, we in India believed our cities had outgrown terror. The Red Fort explosion in Delhi now challenges that confidence. Beyond the blast lies a deeper concern, the silent networks that endure after violence fades, reminding us that terrorism adapts even when the nation's vigilance seems unbroken. Terrorism tends to mutate, rise low, and returns in different forms. In the present case, the warning is not just about explosives and rifles, but about ecosystems. The invisible networks of sympathizers, funders, logisticians, and radicalizers, known as overground workers. These networks keep the flame of extremism alive, even when the gun wielding terrorist has been neutralized. Lurking in plain sight over the last decade, India's security forces have reduced the number of active terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir from several thousands to barely 100. The infiltration routes are under control, but OZWs continue to thrive. They provide safe houses, funding, propaganda, and the vital link between ideology and violence. These invisible networks, which earlier spread well beyond Kashmir's valleys into other Indian cities, are now seeking to expand again. The Red Fort incident and the recent arrest of radicalized professionals in Delhi and Faridabad highlight how urban OWCs are evolving, educated, digitally connected, and ideologically motivated, unlike the militants who brandishes a gun. The OZW wears respectability as an armor. A student is rather a social media influencer or even a doctor. Lessons from the world. The world has faced such invisible threats before countries from requires the world has faced such invisible threats before. Countering them requires a calibrated balance between the cautious and his conciliatory. Another Ireland experience remains instructive. For 3 decades, Britain fought the Irish Republican Army through military and intelligence means, but the tide turned only when suppression gave way to reconciliation. The 1998 Good Friday Agreement stemmed from recognizing that insurgencies feed on alienation. Gradually, British strategy combined community outreach, economic inclusion, and political dialogue. The lesson is clear. Security operations need social legitimacy. IRAs, overground networks, weakened not by arrest alone, but by offering the community a political alternative and stake in peace. In Singapore, government created the Religious Rehabilitation Group, a body of moderate Islamic scholars who engage with detainees and young people in schools, colleges, and even construction labor camps, providing theological counseling and reconstructing extremist tradition. The brilliance of the model lay in its legitimacy. The message came from clerics, not from the state, Singapore's success demonstrates the power to preventive de-radicalization built on community credibility rather than worship control. Saudi Arabia and UAE run de-radicalization center combining therapy, education and vocational training, treating extremism as psychological captivity rather than crime. Indonesia's BNPT integrates policing, education and community partnerships to reclaim young minds early. India can draw from these models, all rooted in understanding ecosystem, engaging individual community voices and tackling ideology, not just violence. The new way of radicalization is shaped by digital psychology of generation that urban, connected and restless. Many young Indians live in algorithmic echo chambers where grievance is amplified and belonging promised through outrage. Recruiters exploit this alienation, building global and local narratives. Unlike earlier generations, this cohort experiences conflict digitally. Gaza, Baghdad, or Srinagar consumed instantly and emotionally, turning empathy into extremism. India needs digital counter-radicalization with credible competition in the ideological space. The antidote lies in counter voices, moderate scholars, youth icons, educators, and influencers who speak the language of the young. National security today must be co-owned by society's communicators. Policy path for India's next phase of counter-terror strategy must shift from containment to prevention. Three steps can anchor this shift. From containment to comprehension. Iron Rod from BLDC, High Skills Truck Cleaner from Mumbai, 65 malnourished tribal kids in one Bahar district die in 5 months. High Court said the Mumbai High Court asked government to take the issue seriously and ordered the principal secretaries of four state departments to be present before it in November 24. From Mumbai, harming the deaths of infants due to malnutrition in the remote tribal belt of Melghat in Amravati district as horrific. Bombay High Court on Wednesday pulled up the state government for its extremely casual approach towards the issue from June 2025 to date. 65 infants under the age of 6 months died due to malnutrition in the Melghat region, noted a bench of Justice Revan Mohit Dere and Sandesh Patel. This is horrific. The government should be worried and concerned. It shared. Three boys die as bike hits after truck from Ghaziabad. Chronic kidney disease affects 1 in 10, yet most remain undiagnosed, says study. Only three opponents members in 31 MP JPC on three bills to oust Mantri. Most parties refused to join panel. Statins work, but patients still miss the mark in India from Mumbai. India aims to build world's deepest sea lab by 2050 from Chennai. India is aiming to build the world's deepest underwater research station at a depth of 6 kilometers in the Indian Ocean. By 2050, a top scientist has said Chennai-based National Institute of Ocean Technology will spearhead the technology as part of its Vision 2047 roadmap, and the team has already begun groundwork for the project. When the station is deployed, scientists will conduct experiments, observe marine life through 360-degree transparent walls, and test how humans can end their life underwater. And IoT Director Balaji Ramakrishnan said they first planned to build a station at a 500-meter depth to demonstrate the technology, allowing three scientists to stay underwater for a day or with advanced life support system. It will have a docking facility for a vehicle that will carry the scientists and bring them back. There will be multiple levels of safety for both the vehicle and the fixed station. The station will be a habitat much like the International Space Station in the sky, where scientists can observe the life around them in the water. He said on the sideline of NIOT's 32nd Foundation Day. For comparison, Florida International Stage Aquarius Reef Base awards only existing under sea lies at just 19 meters of depth near Florida. China is developing a deep water space station in the South China Sea, expected to be ready by 2030. Ramakrishnan said the team is already working on the conceptual design. The underwater habitat will draw on technologies being developed for Matsya 6000 India's manned submersible capable of carrying three people to depths of 6,000 meters. It is very complex to design, involving an ability to rise the surface for maintenance. When redeployed, it should be able to easily sit on the sea floor, said Ramakrishnan, while the 500-meter station may be deployed within the Indian Exclusive Economic Zone. The future 6,000-meter station may operate in the Indian Ocean. The return of joy. There is a rawness on display here, a slightly undercooked spectacle that is refreshing precisely because it is at odds with its scale. The empathy on display, the understanding of what loss feels like, and the desire to try and make things better is a deeply human instinct that is rarely seen today towards sport at its most human, unscripted, unguarded, and generous. It's been over a week since the Indian women's team won the World Cup, and the joy is still rippling through the country. Victories of this kind have always been celebrated, but there seems to be something new this time, as if we were rediscovering the feeling that sport can give, as if our now as if our now hands found the ability to feel again. There seems to be something about women's cricket that at once captures the true sense of sport and goes far beyond it. The players are people first and performance later. They are as yet unjaded by success, unjaded by success, untrained by constant visibility. The frankness of their emotions, the straightforwardness of their joy and disappointment, and the ability to melt into a collective team glow. These are the spectacles promoting themselves outside the field, do they live in a world that feels far less self-conscious. The endorsements are fewer, the scrutiny less relentless, and the noise more distant. Their public selves have not yet become their primary occupation. There is still room for awkwardness, for laughter that isn't produced on cue, or ordinary lives to peek through the cracks of their fame. Even their social media presence is a joyful experience because they express themselves with such abandon. They dance, sing, tease, and celebrate with the ease of people, unafraid to give more of themselves. There is no crafted weariness here, none of the strategic self-editing that has come to define the famous. What comes through is not image making, but playfulness, the same energy that animates their brains spilling over into how they inhibit fame itself. They still carry their feelings to the surface without editing. Life without electricity, unimaginable. Uttarakhand High Court says from Dehradun. Uttarakhand High Court has ordered UPCL to provide electricity connection within 10 days to a woman who had stayed. Uttarakhand High Court has ordered UPCL to provide electricity connection within 10 days to a woman who had been denied supply due to a property dispute with her sister, saying life without electricity was unimaginable in modern times. The petitioner, Umar Khan of Roorkee, told High Court she had applied for a power connection. Her sister Sena Nags claimed the house was vacated by her mother by a will in March 2021. 13 deaths. Thanks all of you. Thank you very much.